Greetings, dear friends. Happy Monday. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Enjoyed some of this beautiful summery weather. I really like summer. So it's great to just get some time to rest and relax. But of course, resting and relaxing. We are here. I'm checking in with our usual Monday check-in to see what can we let go of in order to more fully be who we truly are at the core. This is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing spiritual evolution. The idea of checking in. How are things going? How are things going from a planetary um, um, perspective, and how does that affect you? And then as things shift and change, then we shift and change. And so this idea of checking in that I like to do with you is to just for us to come and land into this present moment. And if you're here live, say hi. Or if you're watching the recording, you can ask questions or make comments after I've recorded this. Anyways, all this to say, so here we are wrapping up July. July's been a really interesting month because we had the eclipses, we had the lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse, and then that was like sandwiched in between. Then we went into Mercury retrograde. So this week, this like I said, as we wrap up July and then step into even more interesting energies into August. I think that August is going to start to really help you see that the work that you've been doing up until now actually starts to set in place. Like you start to treat yourself differently, with more compassion, with more acceptance. I feel like that's what's going to be coming, that you lead from your heart and really get into that sense as we step into August. But of course, this week on Wednesday is the last day of July, and Mercury goes direct on Wednesday, as well as having a new moon on same date. New moons are a time for us to really face up to what is it we're working on. So this is a really great energy for us to be landing in and seeing what are we going to focus on letting go of. So just feel into that. How has this Mercury retrograde been for you? I've actually really enjoyed this one. If you've been following my Facebook Lives, you'll know that I actually really do like. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you here. So Mercury retrograde, it's about slowing down, being mindful of the communication in inner communication. How are you talking about yourself? How are you showing up with your message, with your unique gift? And it's the appearance of things, needing to be redone or visited again. So as we wrap up this Mercury retrograde, and like I say, it's the time is beautifully timed that we have the new moon and the Mercury going direct, because perhaps this Mercury retrograde for you has been a wee bit like a detective work. Who are you? Who are you being? Who are you showing up as? And then walking forward, like I say, walking forward into a powerful month of, hi Bernice, nice to see you here too. So it's a powerful month that we're moving into, but with all of that intel that we've uncovered and discovered about ourselves during that eclipse energy, during the Mercury retrograde. So all that being said, take a nice deep breath with me. Let's land into this moment. Park all your to-dos, all your busy start to the week. Just pause for a second. And we're in our mind, we're focusing on what can we focus on this week of letting go, and maybe using that Mercury retrograde final piece of Mercury retrograde. What are we going to let go of once and for good? And let's see what comes up. So what's coming up is loneliness. So how does that feel for you? Are you telling yourself a story about being alone, about not having somebody to talk to about these weird things that I talk about the planetary shifts? And it's funny, I've got to a place where I'm actually really comfortable talking about the different phases of the moon and how we are planetary beings being affected by these planetary shifts. And I know that not everybody can, get behind what I'm saying, and that's okay. How about you? Do you feel alone because you believe something that's a little bit way out there, a little bit not the norm? Of course, being normal is overrated anyway. So just see, are there pieces that you kind of hold back and feel alone because you can't speak or be part of a group where you can share what it is you want to share? Um, all that said, too, is of course, loneliness is you're never alone. You're never alone. So maybe, oh, that's cool. I just flipped open the book to read out to you and it opened right at loneliness. So this is being very beautifully guided. So as I've been doing these, see how that comes up for you. Is there a conversation about I am so alone or nobody understands me or I don't have somebody to speak to? Um, Sit with that, and then I'm going to read out of my guidebook what this has, just to see if you can go a wee bit deeper into this. So it says, this card has come up for you today to encourage you to decide that loneliness, you are feeling a bit holding back, Bernice. So this is a good time for you to see what is that, dialogue with that piece that you're holding back, and then bless it to see, because none of these things are permanent anyways. It's when we're willing to show up with what is, accept what is, maybe even invite some of that intel of why you're holding back. Take a deep breath and then take a small step. A small step. Who could you be? How could you be a bit kinder? How could you gently, lovingly move forward a little bit? Let me finish reading this part here too. So truth is, we all get lonely sometimes. It's just a part of life. Our only job is to recognize it, name it, lean into it, and then let it go. Sometimes letting loneliness go will require you to sit in the feeling long enough to allow yourself to get to a place where you'll be about ready to do anything to get through it. In that space, you can find spiritual energy that will help you shift to the next step. At times, we just need to train our chattering monkey minds not to wallow in the loneliness. Whenever the obsessing starts, we can literally say to ourselves, let go. Or, you could even just acknowledge, I hear you. There's a part of me that's feeling lonely. There's part of me that's holding back. It's not all of you. So you could invite another part of you, another one of those voices to say, let's see if we can tell a different story. Let's see if we can move forward with some love, some compassion for ourselves. Take another nice deep breath. So I started this last week because I'm going to draw 3 of the angel cards, because that always gives us a nice bit of support about the idea of loneliness, or the idea of what it is we're going to be focusing on letting go of. But I've also got my tarot deck out now too. So I'm going to draw a tarot card to see, is there a little bit more insight into this idea of why it is that we're going to be using the letting go of loneliness as we wrap up this Mercury retrograde. So let's see. This is fun. So the card that's come up is the 6 of Cups. Now that makes me feel like 6 of Cups is to do with looking over your shoulder and telling yourself a story about something that's happened in the past. And so one of the things about feeling lonely is that an outdated story that you made up and you haven't really realized that you've got people that listen to you, you've got people that you can reach out to, you've got things that you can say or go to. So see if this sense of feeling lonely or feeling alone is attached to something that doesn't serve you anymore, that you're actually still, got it, carrying it on your shoulders, and it's not true anymore. So just check that out. Like I said, I think the whole piece that I'm trying to help you get into too is it's 11:11. The whole piece I'm trying to get you into is to have some fun, to lighten up, to kind of be the observed and the observer, but also from a space of acceptance, of love, compassion, and play. So if part of you is showing up and saying, I'm lonely, I'm stuck, I'm holding back, take a deep breath, and then how can you be lighter and more fun with that and say, okay, interesting, there's a wee piece of me that's feeling like this. where's the fun part? How can I be a little bit more just in the moment, accepting everything that you've created is for your highest and best good. So as I was just chatting to you about that part, I pulled 3 wonderful angel cards from Doreen Virtue's angel cards, and these are awesome. You're going to really like this. This is actually me doing this real time. I didn't prepare any of this, but it's beautiful because guess what? The first part of letting go of loneliness is for your spiritual growth. So remember I said about the being a spiritual detective. So it's about really doing an inventory of your emotions. None of them, absolutely no emotion is right or wrong. They're just emotions that are wanting you to feel them. And as soon as you feel them and get the intelligence from it or get the gift or the teaching, then you'll move on and things will shift and change. And it'll be like a spiral going upwards, because that's what it's all about. So maybe you need to do some more meditation. Spiritual growth. And so when I talk about meditation, for those, there's lots of people, myself included, find it very easy to meditate. Of course, I'm a meditation teacher, so I should. But so many people find it really hard to meditate. I ask you, what is it you do where you lose all concept of time? For some people, it's going for a walk outside. Some people, it might be some kind of craft or spending time doing a specific activity. Those to me are forms of meditation. So don't be too hard on yourself about it. Doesn't mean, I'm not talking about you sitting still for an hour and having no thoughts. By the way, thoughts do still come up when you're meditating. And so when you can get into this idea of the spiritual detective, the having some kind of meditation place, because that's just basically giving you a little bit of a time out. Remember in the description, I said sometimes we have to just tell our chattering monkey mind to be quiet, go sit in the corner. But that's what meditation's about. It's to give you a little break from that. And that's when ideas and inspiration can land, because then you've created this sort of neutral space, this openness to suddenly get epiphanies or have your intuition try. Like your intuition's always working for you, but sometimes it's too loud. Like if you're sitting there telling yourself a story that's based on something in the past, I'm lonely, you might be missing the beautiful gifts that are right here for you. I hope that serves you, and I wish you a wonderful wrapping up of the Mercury retrograde energy and a wonderful new moon. And I look forward to checking in with you again next week. Thank you so much for watching. Much love. Oh, and have a great start to August. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.